I was only 16 when martial law was declared in 1972.
When things were getting brutal, people are getting murdered, even the church, people were being arrested.
There were a dozen soldiers in the room brought to the interrogation room, and I was told, you will be right or we will kill you.
Many of my friends during the time were either tortured, killed, or disappeared.
We're still paying for the sins of a sadder past. Hard to reflect on its aftermath. With smoke and scattered ash flow from the cracks of shattered glass. Massing the facts, so I have to ask, yo, how long will this battle last? Ever since the first quarter storm protests with teachers, youth, farmers, bankers, poets, and preachers. Before the fateful pen stroke, they'd already saw the writing on the wall. By nightfall, martial law enacted, journalists captured, mass arrest, student groups fractured. No time for passing tests, curfews lock the people inside, keeping them blind, state control media, feeding them lies like communists are plotting against the president to justify increased presence of military regiments. Reporting news distort the views of the residents, and those who opposed red tag with no evidence. Somehow the movement survived, forced underground in churches and safe houses, they bunkered down. Everyday life had changed in an instant, but it drove more and more to join the resistance. 50 years later, they wanna sweep it under the rug. Who's gonna save us other than us? Yo, a history stained from blood and the dust. How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? Haven't we suffered enough? Yo, nothing was just. How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? She sat in the park, recalling how she sat in the dark, light bulb in her face. Her Kasama scream stabbed at her heart. What was a crime? She questioned officials, knowing she'd be killed. Her death extrajudicial if she didn't give up names and locations. Her story echoed so many, chained in the basements of Camp Cromie, where inmates sleep deprived were electrocuted, naked on sheets of ice. Political prisoners caught and tortured, waterboarded, as guards followed orders to slaughter daughters and sons, burnt their faces off, even threatened rape, broke them down mentally to prevent escape, denied the right to organize and demonstrate. True patriots labeled enemies of the state. Bogus charges range from arms smuggling to double murder, all because they sought to advance the struggle further. 50 years later, they wanna sweep it under the rug. Who's gonna save us other than us? Yo, a history stained from blood and the dust. How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? Haven't we suffered enough? Yo, nothing was just. How can an age be golden when it's covered in rust? Extravaganza, mishandled financials, sanctioned assassinations, fake metal scandals, more questions than answers, false flag propaganda at Plaza Miranda. Just a few examples of crimes committed by shameful dictatorship. If it wasn't for the massa, he would've got away with it, word had spread. It was time for this 20-year term to end. Maki Baka heard and said, after 2 decades of low wages, checkpoints to show papers, missing persons, cold cases, guns, goons, and gold, black books with a list of kill targets, while the nation was rocked from exploding pill boxes. Pilfered coffers filled his pockets, giving the people less. A hidden mosquito press exposes lies. You can close your eyes and still never in your wildest dreams picture atrocities done by this foul regime. As Amnesty International voice silent screams, the streets grew restless. 2 million marched ahead, so Marcus fled. A revolution was won through non-violent means. But now it seems, yo, how quick we forget. Gaslight, disrespect those who lived through the death. It's like he ate his belly full and we picked up the check. Generational trauma got us sick in the head. We can only move forward the sooner we see it. Ignoring the past, you're doomed to repeat it. Ignoring the past, you're doomed to repeat it. Ignoring the past, yo, you're doomed to repeat it.